Sorry. Good morning. Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Let me see if anybody's even here. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk about some controversial topics, of course. This one, we're going to talk about the wave of revelation. And first, I want to share something with you guys. The source information is always listed in the description box. And instead of me having to actually read it, I'm going to see how it works with it reading it to you, since it seems to read a little faster than I do. So, let's see if I can get this to work properly, and let's go on with the show. Now, the article is called "The Origin of Hellfire in Christian Teaching." Okay? So, let's see what we get here.
Voiceover provided by truthaccordingtoscripture.com. The origin of hellfire in Christian teaching. The concept of a soul within us that cannot die first became a Christian doctrine at the end of the 2nd century A.D. Hell had been taught in Greek philosophy long before the time of Jesus, with Plato, 427 to 347 BC, as the important leader in this thinking. The teaching of an everlasting place of punishment for the wicked is the natural consequence of a belief in an immortal soul. By the year AD 187, it was understood that life, once we have it, is compulsory. There is no end to it, either now or in the world to come. We have no choice as to its continuance, even if we were to commit suicide to end it. At the end of the 2nd century, Christianity had begun to blend Greek philosophy, human speculative reasoning, with the teachings of God's Word. Such words and phrases as continuance of being, perpetual existence, incapable of dissolution, and incorruptible began to appear in so-called Christian writings. These had come straight from Plato, the Greek philosopher, all those years before Jesus. Other phrases used were the soul to remain by itself immortal, and an immortal nature. It was taught that this is how God made us. But this idea derives from philosophy, not divine inspiration. There are no such words in the Bible. It was Athenagoras, a Christian, but whose teachings, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, were strongly tinged with Platonism, who had introduced the teaching of an immortal soul into Christianity. In this way, he paved the way for the logical introduction of eternal torment for immortal but sinful souls. This was 100 years or more after the time of the apostles, and came straight from the popular philosophy. The apostles had consistently taught that death is a sleep, to be followed by resurrection. The early church leaders, Clement, Ignatius, Hermas, Polycarp, and others, who also believed that death is a sleep, taught that the wicked are destroyed forever by fire. Their punishment was to be annihilation. These leaders did not teach of an immortal soul to be tortured by fire in hell for eternity. About AD 240, Tertullian of Carthage took up the teaching of an immortal soul. It was he who added the further but logical dimension. He taught the endless torment of the immortal soul of the wicked was parallel to the eternal blessedness of the saved, with no sleep of death after this life. This came at a time when many Christians were being burned for their faith, and it was natural for them to accept that their persecutors would at death be consigned to ever-burning hell for the persecution they had inflicted on others, while they went straight to eternal bliss. From the 3rd century, the darkness of the infiltration of man-made beliefs into Christianity deepened until the Dark Ages had smothered almost all the light of God's Word. At the beginning of this time, the first attempts were made to create a systematic set of beliefs. It is not surprising that an ever-burning hell and the immortality of the soul were prominently included. It is at this time that such beliefs, held by most Christians today, had their origin. An ever-burning hell has remained a commonly taught doctrine of the Christian religion to this day. It was not based on the Bible, but on philosophy. Bible verses were later sought to uphold the ancient philosophies of the Greeks and added to the teaching. Eventually, under the influence of Augustine, AD 430, the concept of endless conscious torment was brought into general acceptance by the Catholic Church in the Western world. He taught that all souls were deathless, and consequently the lost would experience endless fires of punishment immediately upon the end of this life. Other pagan philosophers, along with some of the poets of the day, were repulsed by the immorality of this teaching and developed the idea of a place where the fleshly body was purified by fire, but at the completion of purification would find release. It was a middle way between heaven and hell. This concept had its origin in Persian teaching. From there, it passed to certain Jewish groups, and later was taken into Christian thought and teaching. It arose out of a Gnostic idea that the body, flesh, and matter is inherently evil and must be purified and purged by fire elsewhere. But we know bodies can be exhumed for examination, so it cannot be true that the flesh goes elsewhere. A similar view was held in Egypt, with prayers and services for the dead, and payments made to priests for them to intercede for the dead. The idea of a place like purgatory did not have its beginnings in the Christian church, but in ancient pagan religions. The foundations had been established by Augustine's teaching of eternal hell. Purgatory was added and later fully confirmed by Pope Gregory the Great about 582. Purgatory could not be supported by the standard canon of the Bible, and it was the books of the Apocrypha that were used to justify this new idea. A similar teaching appeared in Muslim and Jewish belief. The inhabitants of the world were seen as good, bad, and, quote, middling. It was believed that if one died with curable offenses, these would be purified by pain and torment as a preparation for heavenly bliss. By 1439, the teaching of purgatory with services and prayers for the dead to spare them years of this pain was fully accepted in the Western Catholic world. Italy, Spain, England, France, and was ratified by Pope Eugenius IV. It was not known or taught in Eastern Christianity, which was not influenced by Rome. It is sometimes taught that even the righteous go to such a place for a lesser time, so that the stains of sin can be burned from them, and this can be greatly hastened if certain exercises are undertaken. At the end of this time, any that are incorrigible are sent to hell forever, and the righteous go to a place of eternal blessedness. Heaven and hell are seen to be existing together, side by side, forever and ever. This means that Jesus the Savior can never see an end of the sin and misery he came to die for. Any teaching of the eternal coexistence of evil and good is not in the Bible, but is a teaching from Greek philosophy. The Waldenses, who had fled to the mountains to remain free from the heresies that were developing in the Catholic Church, and also to escape persecution, taught the sleep of death and instant destruction by fire at the resurrection of the wicked. Their persecuting inquisitors reported that they entirely rejected the teaching of purgatory. The Cathari and the Hussites also rejected hell, thus leading the way for the teachings of the later Reformers. The Reformers strongly rejected hell and purgatory because by this time the teaching had become heavily corrupted by the sale of indulgences. These were the payments made to the priests to reduce the years of purification spent in purgatory. Wycliffe taught that death was an unconscious sleep, as did Tyndale and Luther, although it has been said that Luther was not always consistent in his beliefs. They taught neither hell or purgatory. They taught that men are breath in bodies and not souls in bodies. Calvin, however, taught that those who were sinners went to the eternal pains of hell at the time of their death, and even denied a middle place or purgatory. The Reformed churches, like Calvin, have generally maintained a belief in an immortal soul and hellfire, but do not teach purgatory. How do the concept of ever-burning hell and the Bible teaching of resurrection fit together? Over the centuries, there has been a blending of Bible teachings with the teachings of men. It was known that the Bible speaks of resurrection and also of death by fire. The compromise view sees the body being resurrected and rejoining its soul again, and then both being tormented together by fire. Athenagoras taught that a person can never die or come to an end. Life is ours for always. He taught that we have been made intelligent just for the purpose of continuing life, even if it be in hell. He also taught that a body is given to the soul, and we are born into this world to pass through this life as two entities. These two are separated at death, but at the resurrection, the body rejoins the soul. He taught that punishment must be given for sins committed in this body, and so the body needs to suffer punishment also. During the period of separation from its soul, it is said, the body is in the grave. He argued consistently that God made us to live, and therefore we live eternally, even though it is a living death in torment. The theologian Origen of Alexandria developed another, different view of the fate of the wicked. He postulated that the wicked would be forgiven and restored by God, and so in the end, all would be saved. There would be universal salvation. Some of his followers believed that even Satan will be saved. But there was yet another view, that of Irenaeus, who taught that the wicked would be destroyed. All trace of wickedness would be removed from the earth by a devouring fire. The Bible is clear that our choice for him or against him is made in this world, here and now. There is no mention of a second chance in the Bible, or a time when all people will be changed and restored to the Lord. This view of universal salvation is also mythology that has crept into the Christian world. It gives a more comfortable picture than judgment and death, but a second chance is a false hope. Its origin is in the thinking of Greek philosophy. In summary, there is no ever-burning hell with an eternity of torture. There is no such place as purgatory, and there is no universal restoration of all sinners.
Okay. Hope you guys could hear that okay, since I played it through my speakers. Let me fix that. Make sure my sound's coming through okay for you guys. Now what I want to talk about is, you know, some people's programming is so deep into this this program in this simulation. Today, let's just talk about this being a simulation. And that some people are programmed, or maybe, you know, we talk about non-character players and that just run the program. And when somebody starts to break out of their programming, it's like they rush in to try to pull you back into the programming as fast, as swiftly as they can, by trying to shame you, treat you poorly, threaten you with hellfire. You guys know what I'm talking about. Well, there's a wave of energy that is coming through, and I know that many of us are feeling it. It is causing us to feel annoyed, angered even, and righteously so. When somebody does something that is just wronging you, why is it programmed into us that we should turn the other cheek and allow them to smack the other side? Programming, guys. Programming. We do not need to be doormats. We're here to have an experience and expand. and to break out of this programming. But I'm telling you, it's like bots will come after you from every angle because you're no longer hive mind group think. Now, we all have many, many things in common with all of these gifts being stirred up and the understanding that, this place is pliable, that we have a say-so, okay? We are breaking out of the programming and becoming the programmer, all right? But the system itself is going to go after us with any means possible to try to pull us back underneath of some type of programming, usually using fear tactics. Hellfire for eternity is definitely a way to pull somebody back under your thumb, okay? When somebody has wronged you, depending on the magnitude of the wrongdoing, we have choices. We always have choices. We can cut ties with that person and just walk away. We're done there, okay? Time to move on. Or we can get back stuck into the game with them and play it out by meeting them at their level and trying to tell somebody that is programmed so deep and how to deprogram themselves. It's like talking to or bashing your head against a brick wall. This awakening that we're going through is, I've often talked about it here, it's a narrow path. It's not hive mind thinking. It's not group think. It's not the broad path to destruction. We are on a narrow path because we're the only ones on it, okay? And as unique and the unlimited potential in each and every one of us, we're not alike though. We don't think alike, but we lift each other up in love. My motto is to treat others as I want to be treated. I live by that. I've recently encountered a couple that apparently live by that very same motto. I am really resonating with them very well. They're going to be coming on the show pretty soon. I don't know if anybody knows who they are. They have a channel called Beyond the Veil, and apparently they own a radio station, and I was on with them for about an hour, and if I would have known, I probably would have been super nervous, but sometimes ignorance is bliss. But in the meantime, we struck up a friendship. So they're going to come on over and share some amazing things that they've done with the pyramids and the knowledge that they have found through, their experiences. And each of us have our own experiences, our own jobs, our own things that we do. And with that being said, that's what makes us so unique. That's what makes us stand out. Now, if somebody was to come over to my house and, let's say, for no reason, just start beating up on my husband, if you think for a second that I'm not going to jump on that person's back and rip him off my husband, you're mistaken. And I would have every right to be angry. What we have been taught is that being angry with somebody is taboo. I'm telling you guys, as revelations are coming in, we need to own it. We are not to polarize. When you polarize, you're distancing and gapping yourself away from experiences that can enhance your life and your expansion, leaps and bounds. We become stagnant. But like I said, as soon as we stop, going into the conformity and coloring outside of the lines, it's like all kinds of bots will come in and try and get you lined back out. That's where we need to be strong. And that's why it's great that we have each other with the unique experiences and just sharing them with one another and lifting each other up, because we need to be able to withstand all these non-participant players or heavily indoctrinated or very, very programmed individuals. They make it very, very difficult for you to stand. And in the beginning, oh my gosh, you can get tossed to and fro because of, you don't know. You're just now stepping into your sovereignty. You're just now becoming aware. And you're like, what in the world is going on here? So, some people attack, and this is biblical, they bear false witness. Now, I do believe in the karma that when you do something to somebody and they're on their path of programming, that they don't want harm to come to other people. But what happens is like a boomerang effect. Our shield is up and it bounces off us and goes back to them, and they may end up getting very sick, or something will go, a little hinky in their life. And I constantly pray that that doesn't happen to people. Let me see what you guys are saying. I've just been sitting here chatting away. Defend yourself to others. Yeah, stop. Stop the violence. To stop someone's violence. Absolutely. And yes. So when and we hear a lot of people talking gossip. Okay, guys, we can tell gossip. All right, gossip is somebody that's making blanket judgments on somebody that they just do not know that person at all. I've been told by the Christians I'm New Age, and by the New Age I'm too Christian. I don't wear any of those labels. I have respect for everybody's belief structures. I think there's beauty in each and every one of them. But I don't subscribe or ascribe to any of them, because what has been revealed to me is something very contrary to what the churches teach us. We're not going to get sucked off this planet. It's not going to happen like that. If people automatically disappeared off the planet, it would probably be the non-participant players, the ones that are so highly programmed that they need some extra help. And they may have to go somewhere to be deprogrammed. Not sure. Now that's theory, guys. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But in my heart of hearts, that I really feel that there's no left behind. There's nobody going to Hellfire. It doesn't even exist, you guys, unless you create it. Then you will experience hell on earth because you created it. And we're coming into this understanding, this awareness. We're rising up, the boots coming off our neck. We understand that our energy field extends so far around us. And to get pissed off at somebody because they're just doing something that is just completely wrong is okay. If you keep squelching your anger, let's say you've got somebody that comes over and every time they come over, they steal from you. Okay? But we're told, turn the other cheek, open the door, let them back in. But every single time, they rob you blind. What are we doing there, people? I mean, come on, let's think. We're sovereign. We have the right to make good, healthy choices for ourselves. Don't let that person in your house anymore. We're going through a process of refining our homes, taking back our authority, using the God-given gifts that we have, and applying them. We're waking up to the authenticity of who and what we are, and learning how to exercise. And it takes time. Nobody's going to learn this overnight. We're not expected to learn this overnight. if you were to pop your eyes open one day and everything was changed around you, you'd lose your mind. So I look at like the Mandela effect and say, okay, that was a gentle way of letting all of us know, hey, we've got to say so in what's going on here. Okay? All we have is the present, the now moment. What are we doing in our now moment? What are we creating? What are we feeding ourselves? You know, you start recognizing and seeing all around you the programming through television and news and, you know, logos and all over. You start recognizing that. That's one of the first signs of awakening. You start seeing the conspiracies and all of that is just rubbish. And so you stop and then start looking around what is going on around you. We get our own house in order first, right? So I'm not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm just trying to bring up where some of these sayings come from. And why would a king want this all, you know, canonized? Well, he didn't want anybody to usurp his authority. If you have a bunch of people walking into their sovereignty, there's no need for a king, right? So, and again, I think that, you know, with each religion, if they're doing what they're saying, which is supposed to be helping the community, they gather tithes and it's supposed to feed hungry, clothe those who need it, shelter those who need it. And if they're doing those acts of kindness with the funds that people are contributing, then I say, yes, keep the churches. Let's do that. As for fellowshipping and things like that, a church should be more of like what we're doing. I hate to say it, but coming together and sharing what is going on with each and every one of us. Like the Kryptonian coming on talking about what's going on with his hands and now going on, you know, with his legs. These changes that are going on. People noticing these things. I remember being taught we were on the Sagittarius arm. How they knew that, I don't know. But now we're on an Orion spur. But I do remember a yellow sun, and now the sun is white. So there's something going on around us. We're taking part in something huge, something absolutely magnificent, and don't let anybody steal your power, your authority, and your right as a divine creator. If you're, you know, going by, I think there's universal law. I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, believe there is universal law, which is like what I said with the boomerang effect. If what you're creating is not taking away somebody else's sovereignty and harming somebody else to get your creation, then it will come into fruition. Remove the doubt and go for it. Okay, I see my name highlighted. Agreed. Yes. Fellowship. Yes. It should never be one person up in the front knows it all, and then everybody else sits there quietly and just listens. No. Now, I do think that there's people that have experienced things for much longer, and when they share, we should listen. Just like there's things that another person will have experienced much longer, and when they share, we should listen. See, there's a give-take here, because every ability that people have brought up on my platform is something that I see that can be done in everybody. Each of us has these potentials within us. We have our strong suits. We are stronger in some areas than we are in others, but we are able to access these, and we can go after our heart's desire. Whichever gift is your passion will be the one you work the hardest, you know, to come into fruition. Remove that doubt and just let it happen. A lot of these dogmas and doctrines are put in place to keep you crushed down. And so what I'm thinking here is, since I've got so many bot attacks, I'm just going to call them bot attacks, very highly programmed people coming after me and treating me poorly, I'm doing something right. I've got to be doing something right, or they wouldn't be coming after me as heavy as they are. I have another token, the thing that we're working on with the view counts. Please continue to do that. I've got somebody that's a very good researcher who's going to come on with me. The results, you guys, are uncanny. But you will find that there are people that will oppress people that are wanting to set people free. Now, if I was going to stand up here and fleece you and tell you that you were going to go to hell, and first of all, I'd be lying through my teeth. And second of all, I'd be getting ratings up the wazoo. My view count would be proper. What we did notice when we were doing the research is the view hours. They can't mess with the view hours. And they're not consistent with my view counts. So, food for thought. Just a little nibble of something that we're going to reveal to you guys before we address it with YouTube. But then again, YouTube could be a part of this simulation bot system that we're trying to overcome. But we can still use it for good. We are a grassroots movement. We're raising up together. We're in this together. And, you know, we're limitless, you guys. Just know that, and don't let anybody use fear. And don't ever let anybody tell you you cannot get angry when somebody does something spiteful, hateful, hurtful, robs you, does terrible things to you. Especially, you know, in the Christian doctrine, it says straight up, do not bear false witness. If they believe their doctrine, then what the heck are they doing, right? Hi, ascending to beings. Hi, fifth world. I better say hello to you guys. I'm a little bit worked up, as you guys can see. The frustration is there because I'm seeing people feeling bad for feeling angry, but I think that's part of this wave we're dealing with now. We need to learn to deal with our anger in a healthy way and not keep pushing it down until we get an ulcer or high blood pressure or anxiety or any of these other things that will manifest within our body, because we are not following what our body is telling us. When you get angry, when somebody wrongs you and you get angry, there's a feeling that rises up in you, that intuition, that sixth sense. Now, I'm not telling you to go do something awful to them, but take them aside and talk to them and say, hey, buddy, what's going on? Unless it's a violent act, then you have to act with aggression. You've got to break that stuff up and stop it immediately. But if there's a grievance against you, take that person aside and you discuss it. You don't go out putting people on blast or treating them horribly. That's a bully. I mean, I don't know. And only thing, like I said, I could think of is they're just so heavily indoctrinated. And it's like a bot attack, you know. Uh-oh, we're losing one. One's breaking free. Oh, that one's telling others how to break free too. We need to get in there, start calling names, humiliate, shame, use my weaknesses that, you know, I've been very open with you guys about to bring me down. So I'll stop. But actually, it's doing the opposite. It's making me go full steam ahead and bring you guys the truth, no matter what the cost. And I'm telling you, I believe in divine appointments. I met those people. They are so kind. I've been having back and forth with them since I met them, and they will be coming on over here. And you guys you'll just love them. It's like one of those things you just know when you resonate, like with Liera and Kate and Josie and Eileen, and the list goes on and on, you guys. People that you just can tell if you resonate with them. Don't fight your intuition. I fought my intuition on several people. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to follow my gut instinct. I'm going to follow my intuition, because it's me that leads me wrong. My intuition's always been spot on. Okay, back to saying hi to you guys. You can tell I'm just a little worked up. But I'm full of love though too, so don't get that wrong. People mistake kindness and love for weakness. It's not weakness at all. It's just not. Just because I love you through and through, and I love all of them too. I just wish that, and I pray and I hope that they come into the truth, but everybody in their season, we can't force it on them. They couldn't force it on me. It had to come in my season when I was ready to hear it and come out of that paradigm. And there's so many of us coming out. It brings my, joy to my heart, the warmth in my heart to see so many people seeking. What breaks my heart is when somebody gets twisted up in a situation when they're first trying to peel their eyes open, and they're trying to, just attack from all different directions to pull them back into that system. I talk about the beast system. That's one of my earlier videos. The beast system is the system that's running right now. So we're getting up and out of it, because we're not animals. We are so much more. Oh my gosh. Ugh. And the truths are being revealed daily to us, you guys, more and more. And it's not through, we don't have to look in books. We get confirmations. I call them synchronicities. I love synchronicities. But with these things, we blossom. I get the best information and synchronicities from you guys. Helps me, stay grounded, and helps me feel sane. So it is necessary for us to have these groups so we can come together and talk to one another and have that base. So just realize that if you feel that you're being, gone after in several different directions and trying to be pulled every which way, that you are heading in a direction that is coming up and out of this, and they're trying to pull you back in. It's just as simple as that. Okay, back to saying hi to everybody. Oh, you guys have been chatting a while. Okay, I'll start with there. Hi, Liera. Hi, Sage Wiser. Vanessa. Pre. Ascending to Beings. Overprotected. I'm just trying to scroll through. The Sea Jack. The Fifth World. And I'm still looking. Sorry, guys. I'm not doing it the cheat way. I could, I guess, make that little list. The I always do that to you. The Harmonizing Fool. Makes you stand out. And does anybody in Candy Cupcakes? Hi. Evangeline Glasgow. Sorry. Oh yeah. That's who I'm. Evangeline. Yes, that's who I was just talking about. They are very, very nice people, and they'll be coming over here. We'll do our hour over here, and then I guess I'll be going over there too. And we've got some pretty exciting things lined up, and they're amazing people, and I just resonate so well with them. Different experiences, different type of experiences, but resonate with them. When they made the human Merkaba, when they were going through, and which is one huge, bringing two together, where she was, and they were rotating, they made this huge energy field, and did what they said was a reset. Well, it kind of seems like that, because it just seems like everything's been ramped up, like 10 to 20 times, and things are becoming very, very clear to a lot of people very, very quickly. But yes, They are amazing, and yeah, I'm very happy that I met them, and I met them through Leak Project. I did put where I was on Beyond the Veil in the, where I did guests. Now, it was a 5-hour show. I think I'm at the 3-hour mark or something. If you guys are interested in listening, give them a thumbs up. Subscribe to them. They're pretty amazing. They've also got a radio show. Guys, if I would have known all this, you know me well enough that I would not have called. But my friend Dark Wolf's Den, told me, oh yeah, they've got a radio station. They're well known. They're they stream Facebook here, there. I'm like, what? But I didn't know that, so I wasn't nervous. So I was able to actually clearly speak to them. But they're a very nice, and they live by the, what I recognize in them is that they live by the golden rule that I do. I treat others as I want to be treated. When you guys comment on my in my feed, even if you're just putting your viewer number on there, I get back with you, because you know what? You're important. You are a divine. You have the right to be respected. You have the right for me to acknowledge your existence. And I want to make sure that I do my best to do that for everybody. Does anybody else have any questions, or did that pretty much explain where that doctrine came from and put to bed some of those thoughts? Anybody that's looked at any part of my channel, I have my near-death experience on here, so don't be concerned that there's not somewhere that we go after. And I do think that there's some of us through astral or other means that are popping out and coming back in, and popping out and coming back in. These abilities are within each and every one of us. So don't let anybody tell you anything different. And if you're seeking, there's no way that you can be a non-participant player unless you're coming in to just cause harm or to sabotage. Or spy on us. See what we're talking about. And Eileen's show too. I loved you on Eileen's show too. I wasn't on Eileen's show, hon. Eileen came over here. Is that what you're talking about? Eileen came over here and we talked about our near-death experiences. It was last Monday. Yep. Honey, not vinegar. Right. We don't go looking for trouble. My goodness, no. Your heart expands beyond your understanding. I mean, it's like, woo. You wouldn't want to hurt anybody. And I think a lot of times we have a hard time understanding why people do the things that we do, or that they do to us, because we can't fathom doing it to them. So, it's time for us to toughen up, set up our boundaries, put that shield up of what's allowed in and what's not, and make sure that we're taking care of everything that is going on within our house, so we can therefore benefit other people. We can't, if our house isn't in order, we can't help other people. We're not ready. We're not prepared. Old expression. Yes. 100%. The fifth world. Sage Rider. Oh, she's talking to him. Okay. You got locked out of what? Oh my gosh. Well, I know this. I am separating myself from unhealthy situations, or situations that no longer serve. So, if you're used to seeing me some places and you don't see me anymore, doesn't mean I don't love that person. I still do. It's just, it was time for me to go a different direction. So, And that happens, you guys, as we grow. Things happen. We find out things. The truths are revealed. And when they are, we are forced to make a decision in some parts. And we've got to do what's best. And in the most peaceful way possible. Like I said, if somebody comes and attacks my husband, yeah, I'm going to jump on their back and get him off of them. But if there's a peaceful way of just walking away from a situation, always take that method first. Because I'm preaching to the choir. That's in our nature. We're not out looking for trouble. I'm not going to stand on here and I'm not going to bash other people. It's just not in my nature. If I don't have something nice to say about you, I'm not going to bring you up. That's just it. I'm not going to do it. That's just not in me. Hey, Kate. Yeah, you're late. I'm about to jump off. Yeah, don't make things worse for you or for others. That's right. That's one of the things that that's how are we wanting to, okay, we're wanting to create a place of equality, sovereignty, beauty, plenty for everyone, without a hierarchy. So if we're running around causing trouble, then that's actually opposite of what we're trying to create. So, yeah. It is in the Bible, the fruits of the Spirit. Most people will exhibit the fruits of the Spirit, but we're also to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Don't go provoking. Don't poke the bear. But don't put yourself in harm's way, and don't be a glutton for punishment. People start treating you bad, just leave. If that's a possibility. Fight the urge to have to feel like you have to stand up for yourself. If they try to call you out, you know, there's reasons behind what they're doing. Like I said, it's like they're trying to pull you back into the system. And that's the way the system works. As soon as you start popping out of it and start taking your sovereignty and realizing who and what you are, all of a sudden, all of this will rise up to pull you back in. And you know what? No. Once you get that taste of freedom, you're not going to go back in. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. It took me years. So that's why I always tell you to be patient with yourself. Be kind with yourself. Be kind with other people. Because other people could be going through these very same things. But at the same time, we don't need to be abused by others. So just walk away peacefully and no harm. What? Leah, you're kidding. Oh, God. Girl. You got a lot going on, though, so that wouldn't surprise me. They probably did one of those, you need to change your password, it's been so much time, blah, blah, blah. You changed it, and you're remembering the old one, and now you can't get back in. Been there, done that myself. Okay, so your channel is still up, so it probably just a suspicion of some kind. YouTube pulling that stunt on Alex Jones. Imagine what they would do to us little guys at Liera. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to read that out loud since it was to her. You know, I bought a water filtration system from Alex Jones a while ago. And no, I'm not promoting his products. I'm just saying what I did. And for him not being around, I sure do get a lot of emails from him. So, just saying. He's doing just fine, I think. I think it's more of a ploy to pull him off the market before the elections. And then he'll pop back on after these elections here this year. So, food for thought. And that again is a system. That's that, you know, duality paradigm system. You know, let's keep them busy with looking at politics. Let's keep them busy looking at religion. Let's keep them all infighting with each other because we don't want them to understand. And if they keep us confused enough, then we will never have the time that it takes to realize who and what we are. So that's it in a nutshell. If you're feeling angry because something happened to you, own it. You know, don't push it down. Let it filter out of you. Ground out. Rebalance. We have dark and light in all of us. That's why we always have a choice. Choose the light. Those are my choices. But I am not going to polarize from experiences. I'm not going to say that, oh, you had this experience and I think that's a bad experience. Ooh, you're going to go to hell, and gap myself from it. An experience is an experience. And I'm not talking about hurting other people or doing anything like that. I'm talking about where they say, don't touch this, don't look upon that, you know, don't go into that house, it's haunted. You know, all of those taboos. Just realize that, you know, you are sovereign. Make your choices for yourself. As long as they're not at the expense of another person, I say go for it. Enjoy life. Get your full experience. Learn who and what you are. Love yourself. Love everybody else. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful place to be. And the more that we know, the more we grow. And the more we grow, the more we can do. And the more we can do, the more we can change this place. Yeah. The story of my life. Michelle, I get confused sometimes about Christianity, and I'm trying to resolve what is true and what is not true. You know, there's a lady, her channel's called Mind Forward. She went through that whole transition. I really wish she would have left that up. I do recommend that you subscribe to her channel and listen to some of the things that she says. She does talk from a very, she's been through it. She's been completely through it. I've been through it too, but I don't think I articulate it as well as she does. What I'll do is I'll throw her link up for you, Pri. I didn't think she was active, and then all of a sudden she showed activity on her channel. So I'll go ahead and put her back under the featured on my homepage, so you should be able to find her. But she's absolutely wonderful and very, very good at answering questions. So if you emailed her, you know, with what's going on with you, where your confusion's at, she would be able to articulate that with you very well to help untwist those, you know, the confusion that is going on within you. And I've told you guys that all along. I bring on different people with different experiences because I may not resonate with you. And if I don't know how to answer your question in a way that I think would, you know, solve the issue or do it justice, I'll point you in a direction of where I think you can get the help, in my opinion. Test all things. Test what I'm saying. Use discernment. If you didn't get a chance to and you came in late, start at the beginning of this video and listen to that article. It's in the show more notes, but I did play the audio version of it at the beginning. Very informative, very enlightening. I love you guys so very much. I can't believe there's so many of you here this early. Wow. I love you. Oh, enjoy the CERN. Obviously you guys are. Can't believe it's got like almost 60 hits, and I just put it up right before I started prepping for this show. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much, and we will not be broken. We will not be put asunder. We will band together. We will continue to share what we have with one another so each of us can grow in our understanding and expand. Peace.